Howdy folks, it's Adriel the Hunting Gear Guy. I want to show you guys this CZ958 Hunter. Wolverine Supplies is working with CZ to come up with a couple of different versions of this one. There's the tactical that comes with one with a sight on the front. This is the Hunter, so it's nice and clean, and I kind of prefer that because when you've got a nice rail on top like this, why bother with iron sights? Because you can go with a red dot or optics or something like that. So let's take a closer look at this thing. Now, the wood that's used on these rifles is a lot different than on the other CZ 858s, because on the 858s it uses this chipped wood, compressed acrylic, whatever, epoxy thing, and it's been referred to as beaver barf, so it's not that appealing. But the wood on these ones is a lot nicer. Now we've got this check, I assume it's walnut, whatever, check wood. We've got some hard wood on here rather than that beaver barf or polymer furniture, so it's a lot nicer grained. On the back here we've got this curved buttstock so it stays in. It is steel, so it's not offering you any recoil mitigation, but we're only talking about 7.62 by 39 here, so there isn't really a lot of recoil to speak of. Now moving to the controls, let's just show that we've got an empty gun here. We have nothing in the chamber, nothing in the magazine here. We've got this safety up here. It's only on the right side, and what you do is, just like an AK would have the selector on the right side as well, we're just using our index finger to snap that in place. So it's not as bad, I guess, as an AK. It's a little bit more tactile, a little bit more visible. I don't think it's as good as an AR-15, but it's still not that bad. I mean, it's still better than something like an SKS or something like that. Lower to the bottom here, we've got a couple of different controls, and I'm going to have to hold the rifle to show you them. Now, first we're going to talk about the magazine release. It's on the left-hand side, and you're supposed to use your left-hand thumb with that as you grasp the magazine. There's a rock and lock, which means that when we release that magazine release, we're rocking the magazine forward to pull it out. It's not a straight pull. These magazines are aluminum, and they're very light, and I find that they've got this paint, this coating on them here, and this is the nicest magazine I have. It's one that I'm not using a lot, and that rubs off, and then they slowly become worked in and easier to pop into the mag well there. So that's the magazine release. The other piece that I wanted to show you on the bottom here is that there's this bolt hold open. So if there's a problem with our bolt, we can pull it back. Oh, this is going to be a little bit hard to show you guys, but I'm going to pull it back and push on that bolt hold open with my other hand, and it's just going to hold it open for us there. So that's kind of handy there as well. We've got a reciprocating charging handle up here, so it's always going to move, and I kind of prefer that on a rifle like this because we need something that's going to move around and be easy to grab onto and check out. Along the top, this is the thing that's different than an 858. We've got this nice long Picatinny rail that we can mount an optic or a red dot or something like that on. That's something that a lot of people out there want to do, and I think on this rifle it's something that makes it stand out incredibly. Now to test that, just to show you guys the trigger on this thing, again, I'm going to confirm there are no rounds in the magazine and there's nothing in the chamber. I'm just going to pull this trigger here just to show you. It is a little bit long, but not the worst. I mean, it's talking about a military derived trigger. It's not the worst out there, but it is a little bit long, and that does, I guess, hurt when you're trying to shoot it off the bench and that kind of a thing. So it would be nicer if the trigger was just a little bit lighter rather than it's heavy. But again, this is a pre-production model, so things may change by the time this gets to production. Now, cleaning this thing is interesting. We've got this pin that's on the fore end here that lets us take off the upper handguard very easily and gives us access to the piston. And the piston itself, boy, you want to talk about, oh, I should pull the bolt back here if I want to get in there. The piston simply pulls back, up, and out. So very easy to clean that and very easy to get it back into action. Again, if you've used some other red rifles, this is pretty sweet because we've just got all of our carbon and fouling and that kind of stuff just up here. So it's going to be very easy to clean this rifle. So if you want to shoot this rifle with a scope, you can just, if you're going to shoot with a scope, my recommendation would be not to use corrosive ammunition, because if you're going to use corrosive, you're going to want to get in here and clean this all out. The piston, this tap here, all these places up here you'll want to clean. So if you're going to shoot corrosive ammo, run a red dot with maybe with a magnifier or something like that, and then that way you can pop this guy off whenever you need to clean things out. Now at the rear we have this sling swivel, so you can add a sling on there if you want, and it corresponds with one that comes up front here. So that's kind of nice, because what that'll let you do is sling the rifle and have this nice flat part against you as you have it slung, so it's not going to be binding, or nothing's going to be like poking you or anything like that. Now I want to show you guys some accuracy recordings with this. Now keep in mind that I had a couple of other people with me at the range, so they took a couple of these shots. These aren't all just me, but I wanted to show them anyways. This is shooting just with Barnall, so this is steel cased modern ammunition, and I'm looking at right around a 3-inch group here. The next one I have here is just with surplus. This is, I don't know, it came out of a Spam Cam, and we're looking at, for most of our shots, 1, 2, again, about a 3-inch group. I think that's fine for surplus ammunition. It did not like Winchester at all. But this Hornady looked really good. Okay, so if we pretend that some of these flyers here are some of the people that were shooting with me, I'm looking at a group that most of the shots that are punched here are right within 2 MOA. And for 7.62x39 in a semi-automatic military-themed rifle, this is pretty good. This is starting to look like something that I would want to hunt with, definitely. I wouldn't have any problem taking this out to go do deer or coyote. Again, within the limits of the cartridge, within, say, like 150, 200 yards. I wouldn't go any further than that, A, with the cartridge, or B, with this accuracy. But within a short range, like 150 yards, that's fine, and that's where you do a lot of your deer hunting anyways. So what are you left with after all of that? Well, you're actually left with something really, I think, something really unique, because this turns out to be a really compact little hunting rifle. You think about, I'm a pretty big guy, and I dominate this rifle very easily. It's very small, the controls are very small, and it looks really good. And I'm going to throw something kind of crazy out there. A lot of girls and a lot of wives and girlfriends of some of the guys who saw me shooting this at the range, as well as my buddies' wives, really liked this rifle. They thought it was really nicely compact, fit them really well, and the ones that shot at the range had a blast. They really liked it. So I think it's kind of interesting that something like this would appeal to women, but it makes a lot of sense when you start looking at it. It fits optics, so it's very easy to shoot. It uses a cartridge that uses very little kick, so it's nice to shoot. And it's very compact. We've got a very short length of pull here, a very small grip, so it fits really nicely. And overall, very easy to use. So it's kind of an interesting rifle in terms of something that you could use hunting, something that you could use as well plinking with cheap ammo. Because 7.62x39 in Canada right now is incredibly cheap for a rifle cartridge that's centerfire, right? So if you want a rifle that you can plink with most of the year and then turn around and throw a red dot on it and go hunting with it, take a look at the CZ 958. Now again, this is a pre-production model. They're still going to figure out when these things are coming into production and all that kind of thing. But from what I've seen so far, very interesting. Thanks for watching.